What's going on, everybody? Lamont, we're here. It's the finale. It's the end. It's Bel-Air season 4, episode 8, titled The Next Act. As senior year wraps up, every Banks family remembers, confronts major life changes. I feel like I read that wrong. We're talking full spoilers. I want to know how everybody feels, not just Lamont, but everybody in the comments, in the chat. But before that, Lamont, this may seem kind of random. Have you seen the Lord of the Rings movies, particularly Return of the King, the third one? No? Okay, that's fine. The reason why I bring it up, very popular film. I think you will like it for the adventure aspect of it. That movie was great. It won like 57,000 Oscars in that night, but it had like 13 endings to it. Like every time the movie, you thought the movie was going to end, it just kept going. And then there was like another ending, and then another ending, and then another ending. I felt the same way about this episode. Not that that's a bad thing, but when I was watching it, I was just like, man, they don't wrap this thing up like 4 or 5 times. Anyway, I'm being silly but serious. How did you feel about the season finale of Bel-Air, season 4, episode 8?
They left me wanting more. They
Oh,
left my emotions tattered a little bit. Them bringing in the surprise at the end really took me back to that age because I grew up in the 90s watching the Fresh Prince. I'm an 80s baby, so that was the show that you watch. And I just felt like they could do more. And I agree with you that there were so many endings that could have been done that makes me want more. So that's how I feel. I feel like it should have been more.
what was lacking that makes you want more? I'm really curious.
When I say I want more, I mean I want more seasons. Not
Okay,
that this particular episode could have done anything more because this episode to me was phenomenal,
got you.
but the way they left the story, it just made me say to myself, you could do a whole lot more with this dynamic family, this dynamic group of African Americans. Then you brought in the surprise at the end, which you could have led to something else. So I'm just saying they could have done more in terms of more seasons.
I agree with you, sir. I agree with you. I feel it stinks. Not that the quality of the episode stinks, but it stinks that this is coming to the end because I want more too. I've said this probably every recap we've done for this season that I think that we should be going to season 5 or 6. I think the original Fresh Prince had 6 seasons. This only has 4. Some expert can correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section, but I just don't see how it's going to happen. But starting off with the episode, there's love in the air. Baby Nicholas is here, and Ashley is like so in love. Oh my gosh, how can you love somebody so much when you just met them? I mean, it's possible, when you have innocent, loving child right there. But she almost broke the number one rule of don't ever wake up a sleeping baby. And Will comes in there and screaming as well. Is that the number one rule, Lamont? Are you never to wake up a sleeping baby? Were you gonna curse the baby or something?
Man, if you wake that baby up, you get punched in the eye. Let me tell you something. Bruh, do not wake up a baby, especially you got a baby that's
Like that.
colicky. Man, yes, man. Man, you're gonna get two black, you're gonna leave the house looking like Lobo. You
Oh
come
man.
in there and wake up a baby. No, don't you do it. That is a top 5 10 commandment rule. Do not wake up a sleeping baby. Yes, Lord.
I got you. I got you. I don't know, man. I'm imagining that you learned the hard way or something like that.
Oh,
The past.
yeah, you could ask some people that came in there and woke up. As a matter of fact, the one that got woke up wants to say hello. Come on and say hello.
Hey, pretty
Come on.
princess. Girl, come on, bring her
Yeah, yeah.
through for the
Hurry up, say hello.
finale.
He wants
Yes.
to see.
Uh-oh. Hey, I'll give her the headphones so she can hear me. How you doing, sweetie pie? You doing all right? Oh, what you got there in your hand? Just a giggle ball. I like your braids. I like your cornrows. Did you do them yourself? Yes.
No,
Yeah. Huh? You just answered me.
no,
I don't know if you're saying yes or no,
Are you
but
going to say something in Spanish?
no.
I love it. I
How do you
love
say
it.
no in
I love
Spanish?
it. Say no in Spanish. You know
All right.
Spanish?
Bye bye, L.
No.
See,
Oh,
oh,
nice.
okay. There you go. See you later, alligator.
Yeah. Yeah. She in there. She in that dual language Spanish program, boy. She knocking it out the park. But
Yeah.
this is the child that got woke up, and the person that woke him up to this day is scared to walk in the house if I'm around.
All right, guys, let that be a lesson to you. Don't be waking up no sleeping babies, man. You know they need their rest so they can go get baptized at the church and all that good stuff. And that was a nice scene too. We also saw that Phil is being the Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Man of the Year. That's what's up. Shout out to him. So things are going well in his world or the Banks world overall. But not so much with Will. He's stressed out. One of the reasons why is him and Lisa haven't made up. She's at school cleaning out her locker, throwing away pictures, throwing them in the trash, like, if you will, forget all of our great moments that we had and these good times and that good times. You don't want to talk. You want to be childish. I'm throwing this stuff away. And it's just kind of weird to me that Amira is coming through as the saving grace. Like, guys, we can't fight. We have to stick together. We have to love each other. Don't you think you're doing this? I mean, it's great, but it's just kind of weird coming from her because she's been so unstable throughout the show. Is Lisa going too far with her emotions right now, or is she justified for throwing away the pictures?
No, she's not justified, man. Look how we chastise people the minute they get into a disagreement and then they go unfriending you and blocking you on social media. We take them to task for that. Now, the only saving grace for Lisa is that she's young. And when you're young, you get a little bit of grace for these type of mistakes. The consequences aren't that heavy for this. This just shows her youth. She'll do better. You know, hopefully they will give us a college version of This Like a Different World, and we can see her mature a little better. But there was no need to be that anal about it. And to your point about Amira, most people who go through something like her and Carlton that have, as my church folk would say, a testimony, wind up being some of the best friends once they get themselves on the straight and narrow because they have been to the promised land and fell off. They've had to overcome such hard barriers that they can give great advice. And I love how they let mini Keisha Cole come through in the clutch.
Have you caught that before on the show about recaps? Bro, I just realized I got that same shirt. Long live the king.
Yeah.
We gotta set something up to where we wear it or whatever at the same time.
Oh yeah, we gotta set it up, baby.
Yeah. What was I saying? You have called her Miss Keisha Cole before, right? Okay.
And if she's watching this, because look, I heard to the grapevine they be watching us
already.
If you don't know Amira, that's a term of endearment. I think Keisha Cole is a beautiful woman.
Oh yeah,
and I wish she would have kept her gap, because that gap added, like, for me, this weird kind of extra nuance. And you kind of got a small little gap that adds that loving nuance weirdness I like. So you rocking it, sis. You rocking it.
Right on. Yeah, the Keisha Cole, that's no shade at all. Keisha Cole is great, talented. Yeah, so no shade whatsoever. James Baldwin, he was an American writer, poet, civil rights activist. I think he passed away in 80. I was going to say 85 is right there. 87. Lamont, very, very popular in the Black community. The reason why I'm bringing him up is Ashley did reference him in her poem that she addressed to I can't remember if it was a poem exactly or her speech that she addressed to the class. Man, bro, she hit that out of the park. She was like, they talk about nobody gets me. She's been talking to her mother and Hilary throughout the season that she doesn't feel like she belongs. Eli is the only person that really gets her. Of course, they talked about our first kiss, but she says that this poem here was inspired by James Baldwin, who I just brought up, and was in reference to, I think, his nephew or niece, but now it's to her, Ashley's little sister. And she said they talk about diversity and inclusion, and put a picture of me there, but then exclude my story, or my story is not heard. I was like, God damn. That right there is a bar coming from Miss Ashley Banks. Yeah. You started they showed the shot of the white people looking around like, oh my God, I feel convicted a little bit. I feel challenged. And Aunt Viv and Uncle Phil kind of looked back and forth too. I loved it, man. I thought she knocked it out of the park. How did you feel about it, or did you think it was too?
No, no, I was big time into what she said, because what she said was real.
Mhm.
And we could even say that in today's society, it's getting worse to the degree of what she read. That was a phenomenal poem, phenomenal soliloquy, or whatever you want to call it. And to James Baldwin, if you haven't read up on him because they're not teaching him in school, please go and do yourself a favor. Read up on him. And I'm going to give you another person who gave some fantastic quotes that was big in the film industry. Oscar Micheaux is always regarded as the first Black director that did like 6 or 7 films in the late 1800s, has such great quotes as, the white people love the Negro when he's entertaining, but they hate the Negro when he's a businessman. Let that sink
Love
in,
it.
folks.
Yeah.
And Ashley, to have the courage to get up there in front of a crowd of private school folks and
Mhm.
say that, big ups to her, because she crossed a couple of boundaries. She crossed the LGBTQ, she crossed the minority boundaries, she even crossed the issues women face. So I enjoyed it.
Right on, man. I enjoyed it as well. I enjoyed it as well. One character that I did not enjoy is Vi, played by April Parker Jones. Why are you laughing?
Because I knew you was gonna say
Really? Really?
yeah,
Why?
like
Why?
because back on the old show, Vi was bipolar, was polarizing then to a lot of the audiences.
Yeah.
And this version of Vi, honestly, BA is a toned down version of the Vi back from them days. The Vi back in them days was on steroids. This
Yeah.
one right here is just on that caffeine. But I
Yeah.
knew you was gonna say it.
That's interesting. I love it. I love it. Yeah, man. Great actress. I like her, man. But the character be grinding my gears, man. Oh gosh. It's a popular thing in our community where parents don't apologize. They say, you ready? You hungry? You want to come eat? And that's the apology. It's very, very frustrating. And she's like, she's a mother. I get it. You want to look after your baby. Every mother would. And I'm not trying to get mad at her for having some type of pause or caution because Will was not 100% on going to that school, that college that gave him the full ride. She did go off on him. I thought it was a bit much. But when they were in the room and he was packing his clothes, I don't know, man. It was just something about her attitude, her demeanor, her swag, her energy that it just rubbed me the wrong way. Same thing later on when she was talking to Aunt Vi about her dating, but we'll come back to that. But in particular, man, is when she was like, "Well, yeah, baby, I'm so proud of you right now. You're going to UPenn and the best business school, Ivy League, yada yada yada. I know I had my doubts when you was turning down that other school, but I knew I had hope." And he was like, "Really?" Because I didn't think that way when you hung up on my face. And she was like, "Let's not dwell in the past." That pissed me the F off right there. It just did. Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe I'm nitpicking. But I got pissed off. I was just saying, okay, woman, just apologize and say I'm sorry. Why you got to be like, I don't, and maybe it's triggering for me because there's somebody like that in my family and it gets on my effing nerves. Love them to death. But they act like that too. Just like, they will call you out for your fallbacks or your mishaps. But as soon as they do the same thing, that could have happened yesterday. They're like, why are you bringing up the past? That was a long time ago. No, it was 24 hours ago. And you're still doing it. If you don't want me to bring it up, stop it. Clearly, I'm emotional right now.
So whoever's bothering my man, stop it. Stop it. Damn it. Stop it.
You know what I'm saying? Anyway.
And audience, post your comments too. Who gets on your nerve in your family? And you just be like, man, if you don't shut up and start acting like your house is made out of glass when it's really made out of a mirror, let us know.
That was triggering for me, obviously. But how did you feel about it, man? Do you feel the same way I do? Are you tripping or are you team Vi over here? I'm like, no, B, I'm 100% with her. Where are you at on that and that whole little interaction?
It's old school mindset. And when you are the authority figure for a child, sometimes it can be bruising to your ego to have to apologize to them. And back in those days, they didn't believe in none of that, apologizing to a child. Back in those days, they used to give you whippings, not spankings, whippings. So imagine her trying to do the mental gymnastics to form her lips to say, son, I'm sorry. This is not going to happen.
Yeah.
And like you said, they try to do it in a way that's nonchalant. They offer you to come eat with them. They might want to take you to get a donut, or, you know, they take you to the state fair. Everything but just saying the words, I'm sorry. And as a parent in this generation, I oftentimes tell my kids I'm sorry because I want to model the behavior of when you do something wrong or you mess up, you let someone know that it was non-intentional or it was a dumb decision and you are sorry you did it. And simple as that. Because she got on my nerve with that phone call too. When he had to hang up on her or she hung up on him, she got on my nerve. She was a bit much then too.
Yeah. I mean, I would see if he was like, I don't want to go to college. I want to be a rapper, or I want to go sell cars, kind of like in the original show. You know, well, Will was going to sell cars. Well, I can't remember the exact plot, but I know Will was about to be a car salesman, and Uncle Phil wasn't. You know, he wasn't feeling that. But yeah, I was annoyed by that. You know, but you know, you guys let us know what you think. I did get a little tickle after this though. Will was trying to write his speech, and he was in the mirror practicing. You know, he's being loud, having outbursts. Nothing is making sense. You know, nothing is coming together. I think we've all been there before, trying to write papers and speeches and reviews. I know I've tried to write reviews, and you know, he was like, "All right, y'all ready, motherfuckers? Y'all want to burn this motherfucker down?" I laugh because I know I've been like, I've typed out mother effer, mother effer, mother effer at the very beginning of a review or something when I couldn't think of nothing. Like, I wish I could just hit publish or whatever. That was funny. I mean, did you laugh, or did you had
Bruh, I was chuckling because it was the first time I had to give a speech. I was at one point in time vice president of the Young Democrats in my county, and they just pulled me up and said, "Look, we want you to entertain the audience and present this person. We're gonna need you to be up there for 5 minutes." And at that point in my life, I wasn't as comfortable entertaining people and audiences as I grew to become. And so I'm like, 5 minutes?
Yeah.
And I literally said, you blankety blank, what am I supposed to say for 5 minutes? And she was like, you just speak from the heart. And, you know, I wound up getting it done, but bruh, I felt Will in that moment because that's exactly what my mind was thinking too.
Yeah. I mean, same here. It can be very, very nerve-wracking. Very, very nerve-wracking. How did you feel about Penelope popping back up, Jeffrey's woman?
I liked it. I was happy for him. I wanted them to, like I said, I wanted MI6 to have a good ending, and I thought it was good to see Penelope pop back up. And you know, every man need to get their rocks off, my brother. I mean, that's the thing that anchors us to our physical and emotional insights. That good woman. And I was happy to see him get Penelope back there. And like I said, that's another story they could have continued.
Yeah. How did you feel about Jeffrey's swaddling job with baby Nicolette when Uncle Phil was having a hard time wrapping up the baby, and Jeffrey came through to try to save the day? Extra emphasis on try. Reason why I'm also bringing this up, it may not be a big deal to you. I was watching this episode with someone, and they were like, he did such a horrible job with the swaddling. And I thought about you because you have 2 babies and you probably did some swaddling as well. You know, is that something that you hip to, my brother, or did you lead it up to wifey?
Oh no, man. Every which way I could be involved, I've been involved and continue to be involved. I did more swaddling than the wifey did because the wifey was busy. If you don't know, if you don't have kids, breastfeeding is a 24/7 job, literally. And I did everything I could to help out so that she wouldn't have to do that. So I did a lot of the swaddling, and my swaddle game was on point. You know, it was so good. My wife did not want me to leave the house because she was so scared another woman see my swaddle. They might want to swaddle with me. Okay, that's how good. I had a great swaddle game, but the problem was one of my children did not want to be swaddled.
Really?
Yep, the son.
Oh,
This one right here loved being swaddled. I mean, I've swaddled her left and right, but the son, you put him in a swaddle, he bust out of like he the Incredible Hulk. Dude, didn't I safety pin your butt in there and then that next thing?
Yeah, buddy. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what's up right there. Have you been camping before?
No, but Elle and Crystal just went camping 2 weeks ago. Honestly, I
Really?
can't make this up. 2 weeks ago, it's like a big group that goes camping in near a lake in this community we live in, and they did grilling, hot dogs. There was other kids there. It was cold, so the girls went camping while me and Ellis we enjoy modern technology in the house.
I ain't mad at that. So when the girls went, they did not leave the food at home. They didn't leave the bag of food. They was able to bring it because Will and Carlton left the food at home, and they're stuck out. The closest restaurant was over an hour away, and guess who pops up? Lisa and goodness gracious, I forgot her name.
Amira.
Amira, Amira and Lisa and Amira. I got the biggest chuckle out of this argument that they had. It really felt genuine, like it didn't seem corny. Because I mean, I love the show overall, but sometimes I pick on it a little bit with their banter and bickering back and forth. But this was like some real drama right here. Like they were so Will and Lisa were doing everything they could to avoid an argument, in my opinion, but it still happened. It was inevitable, and it was cute and funny to me. I just got a little laugh out of it. Just across the board with like all four characters. I mean, Carlton is mad at Amira because she spilled the beans and cone of silence. She's like, F the cone of silence and all of that. Like, oh, it's supposed to be drama free. Well, I didn't want to be here in the first place. And so I just got a big tickle out of that. I do like the way they made up, but I don't want to go say too much without hearing from you. How did you feel about their beach camping trip? And mind you, they went camping on the beach. They pulled up a RV to the beach. I don't know if that's done quite often, but it does seem realistic. How'd you
I
feel?
enjoyed it, man. I thought this was the best of kind of the turmoil that they had for high school kids, because, like you said, they wanted to talk to each other,
Mm.
but both of them had these egos that was preventing them from getting to the problem. And sadly, be Avery, a lot of that happens with adults. We get mad at each other. There's something that the person we care about really done that plucks our nerves so bad that we think that we're going to fix the problem by avoiding the problem or by shading them because they hurt us so bad. And I was glad they was able to display that and display getting over it with these two.
Yeah. Also, it was a little weird seeing Will and not Will, but Carlton and Amara in bed after the sex session. I don't know why, but I was just like, let's fast forward through this. But no, they had a good time at least, so that's a good thing. Talking about how crazy it is that they almost got married. But right
Mhm.
after that, man, right after that, Will and Lisa and Will took a walk on the beach and they broke up. Disappointing, Lamont. Disappointing. Do you think they should have broke up or do you think they should have stayed together?
After what happened, probably breaking up was the best because, like I said, if it only took 5 minutes of a talk game to get Lisa's panty moist and them lips ready to kiss, bruh, Will, what you gonna do, man? Like, no. So nah, it's probably best that this happened. And this is a dilemma, B. Avery, that happens to a lot of high school kids
Right,
anyway.
right, right,
Like
right.
it happens. You you think that this person is who you're going to wind up being with, and it might be later on. But graduating high school, you have barely scratched the surface, usually, of who you are and
Right.
what it is you want to have as a partner. So yeah, it was due to happen.
Yeah, I agree. I was being silly with the effects and stuff. It is best that they broke up. It's just not realistic. You took the words right out of my mouth. At this age, you don't know who you are, what you like, how you like. You're gonna change 17 times. When you're 23, you're not gonna think. Everybody grows up, so we all know this. So what was interesting to me though, it seemed like Lisa was more interested in breaking up than Will was. Like it seemed
Mhm.
like she was able to move on much quicker. So we're breaking up. For now, it is, but it's a quick train wide away. If you just want to drop it in my drawers real quick, is kind of what I read in a way. Yes and no. But I was surprised by it. I mean, I don't want to say I was surprised. It was just really interesting to me that she just seemed like she was already like, hey, you know, there's gonna be a lot of Curtises. If that what was that's name, it's not Curtis. What was the guy's name again?
I
'Cause
don't know his name.
the girl's name was Tidra, and well, hold on, I gotta get the name. It's bugging me here. Even because her the girl's name was Tidra Kareem. He was like,
Kareem.
yeah, she's thinking like there's gonna be a lot of Kareems, and I want to try them out, and I'm not mad at her for that. I'm not. This is just normal in my opinion. So I think it's best that they did break up. What I did find completely unrealistic, and I don't agree with, is when they was doing the s'mores at the end around the campfire, and Carlton made the proposal of, "Hey guys, let's make sure we meet here once a year or once a weekend every year, no excuses." Man, that sounds nice, bro. You don't know what you're gonna be doing a year from now, man. You may be hugged up with Betty Boo from over here and over there, and she not gonna want to hear all that. Like, yeah, let me go back and kick it with my. That's just. I mean, it sounds good, but that ain't happening, my friend. How do you feel about that?
It would just take a lot of work for it to happen. I don't think at that age and where they're getting ready to go, it's realistic. It's going to just take a lot of work, and if they put in the work, they can make it happen. But Will and Lisa done broke up, so how would that work? Lisa going
Yeah,
to show up with her boo thing, and Will going to show up with Tidra. Titty Tidra. What we got going on here now? And then we're going to have a fight all over again. And again, I think that conversation, that scene, could easily be a setup for a college spinoff, and they really do meet up every year and show up.
there you go. I wasn't even thinking about that, man. Yeah, the show needs to keep going. The show needs to keep going. How are you feeling about Ashley and Hillary? They had a little heart to heart as well, as Hillary is looking over baby Nicholas. Ashley comes through, she can't talk back. And she lets her know, like, hey, I'm glad you're here, but I feel like you left me. I need my big sister. I needed to talk to you. But Ashley, I'm just a phone call away. I know, but I need you physically here. I don't want you that far away. Should Hillary feel bad? Feel like she abandoned her sister, or she just moved on with life, being an adult, doing what she had to do?
She feel like she's an adult, and she feel like we're in the technological age where you can pull out your phone, you can Skype somebody, and do all that, even though it's not the same. Being in person with someone, being able to hug them, being able to see the sweat on their forehead, being able to smell their bad breath, adds something that the
Rough.
video chat can't do. And that's all Ashley was looking for, because now Ashley's caught up in a situation where the person she was getting knowledge from and experience and advice from is gone. And she's also got to have the ability to give insight to baby Nikki.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. Um, do you think you will be able to allow your daughter to go to school over an hour away? She's a freshman, sophomore in high school.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah. An hour away ain't nothing. When the first college I went to was an hour away from home, and I
Mm,
used to drive back and forth to home on the weekends for a little while, and then that mess got old. Trust me. But yeah, an hour away ain't a big deal for me.
okay. Okay. Cool. 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 Um, how did you? We was talking about on Vi earlier, man. She's living her life. She's taking dancing lessons. She's talking to Lou. They're trying to rekindle that fire. She got a roster re-entering her whole phase. Good for her. Good for her. Good for her. She's also giving her sister, hyping her up, just saying, "Hey, f the foundation. You can find you can found your own organization and tailor it the way you want." I like the relationship between those two. There was some animosity earlier on. I think Vi was being a bit of a hater at times, but it seems like that's water under the bridge. How do you feel about the relationship? Or you how you feeling about it?
I feel like their relationship is incomplete because
Mm,
on the original show there was two other sisters that made special guest appearances by some fantastic actresses, and I wish they would have brought those people back, but they replaced them with Vivian's friends. But I would have loved to see all the sisters come back in this finale. And in that moment, Vi gave some good advice. I will give her that. She gave some good advice, and I like seeing Vi that now she's an empty nester. She's not going to crawl up and go in the crypt like she's Mum Ra. She's out here trying to live her best life. And even giving the baby daddy some draws again. So, hey, you never know, man. But I enjoyed her encouraging Vivian to keep pushing and think outside the box.
Yes. And give the baby daddy the draws. Whenever he wants it, just say yes. I'm joking. I'm just joking. I'm joking. Now, this was interesting to me, though. They threw Will a going away party. It was nice. The portrait that Aunt Viv painted Will was beautiful. I would love to have something like that on my wall. But how is a man gonna be getting his feelings, man, when they're trying to toast? He just gonna walk away from the party that's been thrown for him. Like, I was mad at that, bro. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What was he doing, Lamont? Explain it to me.
Bruh, I don't know what he was doing. I was thinking to myself, this party is for you and you walking away? Like, bruh,
It was
like,
rude.
are you that distraught that you just can't stand there with a blank look on your face? He was that caught up that he had to go upstairs and start packing. That's what he went upstairs to do. Start back Green Bay packing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if we're going to keep it 100, he was juggling a lot of stuff. The Lisa thing, this college thing. He has enjoyed this new home he's called Bel-Air. So I can understand some of the soul searching, but not to the degree of just get up and leave the party. Stay there, get the money, get the food. You can go have that moment to yourself after you get all the well wishes, brother. Yeah, man. But I understand the pressure that's bothering him right now. And when I left to go to college, man, it was a scary time for me. But I ain't never leave the party.
Right. That dude left the party. It's probably what Carlton said in this little speech, like, "Oh, I miss you, cuz." That whole scene was great. That little line of dialogue, I really wasn't feeling right there at all. But yeah, they went up there and started helping them pack. And then they closed the relationship between Aunt Viv and Carlton in all the trials and tribulations that he went through, and him saying that he didn't think that he was gonna make it to that point, but he did. And they hugged and they had like a nice little lovely Kodak moment. So that was great. That was great. I also I enjoyed the graduation speech that Will put together too, and the accolades that he gave Carlton. Like, hey man, I would not be here if it wasn't for you. That was beautiful. What did you think about the speech?
Love it. Love it. Love it. I actually like the dynamic of Will and Carlton on this show better than I did the original. Because on this show, they seem more like brothers, honestly. On the
Yeah.
other show, they really felt like cousins. And at times it got old, Will picking on Carlton's height, his haircut, his dancing. At times that got old. And I really enjoyed the way the writers have infused a little bit of that in this show, but more so brotherly love in the show. And so, yeah, I felt that and I was happy for him.
Right. Same here, man. It was great. It was great. But right after that, man, they get say another ending, or it's another ending at the house. Prior to that, Phil mentioned that they're going to be moving out, so the home is getting emptier and emptier. And Will came down the stairs. Everything was packed up, and he said to Uncle Phil, like, "Hey, when you checking on Carlton, make sure you check in on me too." And he said, "Hey, nephew, just make sure that the phone is charged. I got you," and dapped him up. I love that right there.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if they was gonna have an individual Kodak moment with every character before he head out. And I was like, man, that's like 7 people. That's gonna be long. But they didn't do it. I like the way they wrote it. It was just somebody else said something. Carlton came down. Hey, I got some time. I'm gonna go kick it with Will in Philly for a week. And then it was like a big group hug. I love that. And then also Jazz kind of standing to the side and awkward, but we don't see him. He's off camera. And Carlton was like, Jazz, get over here. And he came in as well. I thought that was a beautiful ending. Nice cherry on top, all of that. I loved it. How did you feel about it?
Fantastic. Same. I agreed. Just what black men want to see. That's
Yeah,
what we want to see on TV.
yeah,
And not only do we want to see it, we want to see it in the way they portrayed it. Because, there's all this talk about the definition of masculinity and all that. And the way they portrayed this as men who have control over their emotions, men who are masculine, men that are providers, men that are tough, men that can grind it. But these men know that the root of all this is emotions and being together and brotherhood. It showed all that in that one scene.
right on, man. Right on, right on. I agree. I love it. And we get to the end, but before we talk about it, these people on social media where they post spoilers, it's annoying. Don't do that. I don't understand the point of it. Hey, let me ruin the final scene of the show. Like, are
B.
you?
Avery, was it out? Was it did they post it before the show or after the show?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't
Some
matter.
net some network execs say that they are perfectly cool if the show has aired and you post a picture or a thumbnail or something like that of what happened in the show because they feel like that gets the opposite of what you're saying. Like you're upset, but they feel like that encourages some people to say, "Oh, snap, such and such showed up or this happened. I got to go watch it quickly."
You can advertise that without actually showing what it was. Like, hey, there was a surprise cameo in the final moments of the last episode. Tune in so you can check it out. But if you know what it is before you see it, it doesn't have the big emotional impact. It doesn't have the same emotional impact. There's no surprise. There's no buildup. I'm just thinking, imagine if I had no idea that Will Smith was going to pop up at the end. We've been talking about that since season 1, episode 1. Is Will Smith going to pop up? We don't know. So it would have been just a nice surprise if we didn't know. So, but we've been waiting 4 years, and then the show finally comes out, and then you can't wait a few more hours. It's I don't agree. Even if the executives say that themselves, they make mistakes too. They get fired all the time. But I still liked it. I thought it was dope. Um, when it was spoiled for me, I was saying to myself, he doesn't look like a real character. He just seems like a ghost that pops up. And I didn't like that. But when I saw it in its full context, where it was kind of his future self, I thought that was brilliant. I loved it. I also love the line from Will Smith, how he's saying, look, you don't have to know all the answers. Nobody knows all the answers. Not even the people that pretend to know all the answers know all the answers. He was like, you're gonna make some mistakes and do some dumb shit. I love that. I feel like he was talking about the Oscar slap. I thought it was beautiful. I'm just upset that it was spoiled. How did you feel about the ultimate cameo at the end with Will Smith popping up?
Bruh, like I said, that just took me back to the original show and all the mess ups and stuff that he got in compared to what this version of Will is doing. And I enjoyed basically this was like you said, the future Will
Mm-hmm.
talking to himself
Mm-hmm.
as a young man without telling him what's going to really happen in the future. And the type of things he was telling him is what probably the most seasoned human being would tell a young person. You are going to make mistakes. Even as an adult, you're going to make mistakes. I just made some mistakes this week. You're going to make mistakes. The key to it is how you rebound from it, how you come out of it, and how you do better after you make those mistakes. And failing is not always the punishment. Sometimes it's the precursor to success. And so I enjoyed how that played out. And it just kind of gave me, a little bit of chills to see that moment come to fruition. And it made me say, y'all could have done some more. Y'all could have made some more seasons with this kind of setup that you put in place.
Yeah, I agree. But I love the series, man. I love the show. I'm pretty sure you did too. I'm going to assume that those are your final words. If not, you can let me know.
The only thing I wish they would have done with the christening of baby Nikki, because back on the old show, that was a big thing. When they christened baby Nikki back on the old show, everybody was fighting to get the best gift for baby Nikki. Carlton got a Jeep, and back in those days, to get a riding Jeep, man, good God Almighty, it was like rich folks were the only ones who had that for their kids. Jeffrey had something nice. Poe Will got some stupid gift from Jazz, and then decided that he was going to bring Boys to Men to sing at the christening. That's how I got introduced to my favorite R&B group of all time, Boys to Men. I wish they would have brought some kind of an R&B group to this version of the show that could probably be introduced to somebody who's my age, who's younger, watching the show now.
Okay, right on. Maybe if they decide to do season 5, they can do that. That would be pretty dope. I want to ask you this also, Lamont. Let's say, for instance, we're back in 2019. Avengers Endgame is about to come out on a Friday, and you got your tickets. You finna go see the 7 o'clock showing. But earlier that day, you had some bad tacos and got food poisoning. So you was in the bathroom for 2 or 3 days and couldn't go see the movie. And you got busy, and you couldn't see the movie until next Thursday, like 6 days after it came out. But then somebody posted online that Iron Man snapped his fingers and died at the end. They posted it online. Would you be upset about that? That it got spoiled for you?
No, because even when people spoil movies, I still want to see how it plays out.
Oh,
it doesn't
okay.
bother me. I get some people, it bothers them because Crystal's that way, but it doesn't bother me one bit. I guess what you described doesn't bother me because I still want to see how did it play out. But there are some things that I do nitpick at that I'm just like, do you even have to say that? But that particular situation wouldn't bother me. But bruh, what would bother me is the fact that I had to wait 6 days to see the show.
Yes, don't eat bad tacos. So.
Right.
Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to our Bel-Air season 4, episode 8 recap, the next act, the season finale. I would say we'll be here same time, same place next week for the next episode, but this is it. And so until we recap another show, we're going to say farewell. If you're watching this on my channel, please subscribe to Lamont's channel. And if you're watching this on Lamont's channel, please subscribe to my channel. All those wonderful links are in the description box below. We're probably going to be talking about Paradise Season 2, but that does not come out until February of 2026. But we do have an episode left of Welcome to Derry on HBO Max. So make sure you tune into that. But until then, guys, I'm B. Avery. That's Lamont. And that's just our opinion. Peace out. And we'll see you next time.